Joe Biden is the man pretending to be the president of the United States. Someone is pulling his strings, obviously, and occasionally they wake him up and he gets out there and he slurs over some words and says this, that, the other thing, but clearly is not in charge. And every now and again, as you know, at the end of press conferences, they always say, Mr. President, I want to ask you a question. He says, well, I'm supposed to get going. I'm going to get in trouble for this, blah, blah, blah. Yesterday, he gave a little press conference and he mumbled something that he thought was off camera, but it was not.
Will you take questions on inflation then?
Let's move. Thank you. Thank you
Do you
all.
think inflation is a political liability?
That's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
But I thought we were supposed to heal. I thought Joe Biden was going to be our good grandfather. I thought he was supposed to be a nice man who was going to bring the country together. After that scary orange man almost tore us apart, we almost became Germany in World War II. But Joe Biden is none of those things. Joe Biden is as divisive as you can possibly get. Joe Biden actually has policies that in many ways are ripping this country apart. Joe Biden has demonized his enemies all along the way. He has demonized the unvaxxed. He has called most of us racist, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I don't care that he called Peter Doocy a son of a bitch. People do these things. You know, one of the problems that we have right now is what we see on camera is so disconnected from reality. You see these awful people wearing masks on camera, but you know they're not wearing masks on camera. You see them telling you, oh, you have to, you can't go outside, but we will go outside. We're going to go to parties. Like there's a disconnect between the way they live their life and what the public-facing side of this whole thing is. So I don't really mind that Biden called Doocy a son of a bitch. I suspect he's called him worse things, and Biden's been called worse things, and people say mean names, and sometimes I joke around and call people names. That's all good. It's actually all good. It's completely fine. And by the way, tension between the president and the president's administration and journalists, that's good. That's what you want. You don't want them constantly on their knees showing him a good time, but that's usually what they do. Now, the reason he doesn't like Peter Doocy at Fox News is that Peter Doocy is basically the only guy in the White House press corps. There's a couple Newsmax guys who do it too, but Peter Doocy is the main guy. He's sort of the standard bearer at the moment for someone that is willing to take the administration to task. He's actually doing real journalism as opposed to what the rest of them do, which is, oh, Joe, you're so great. How much ice cream did you have? Yay, you got out of bed, Joe. We love you, Joe. So anyway, I don't really care about him calling Peter Doocy a son of a bitch. And by the way, Peter Doocy doesn't really care about Joe Biden calling him a son of a bitch. Here he is on Hannity last night.
We have some news tonight. After years of clips of the president and I kind of mixing it up on the campaign trail and during the transition and here at the White House, within about an hour of that exchange, he called my cell phone and he said, "It's nothing personal, pal." And we went back and forth and we were talking about just kind of moving forward. And I made sure to tell him that I'm always going to try to ask something different than what everybody else is asking. And he said, "You've got to." And that's a quote from the president, so I'll keep doing it.
Did he apologize?
He cleared the air, and I appreciated it. We had a nice call.
That's not an answer. Did he apologize? That doesn't sound like an apology.
He said, "It's nothing personal, pal."
Oh,
and I
pal.
told him that I
Okay,
appreciated
pal.
him reaching out. Hey, John. The world is on the brink of like World War III right now
I get
with
it.
all this stuff going on. I appreciate that the president took a couple minutes out this evening while he was still at the desk to give me a call and clear the air.
At least he called you pal.
But you know what? I don't need anybody to apologize to me. He can call me whatever he wants.
So good for Peter Doocy, right? It's like he's taken it in stride. I suppose it's perfectly nice that Biden called him and said that. He said it's nothing personal, which is just kind of a funny thing after you call someone a son of a bitch. If you're calling someone a son of a bitch, you're saying your mother is a female dog. That seems personal to me. If you were like, you're an asshole, like that doesn't seem personal. It's just like, whatever. But you're saying, Peter Doocy, your mother is a female dog. I'm a dog lover, by the way. But so it's not really that offensive to me. But it's just, whatever, you get the point. So I think Doocy's taking it in stride, which is actually the right way to do it. And I'm not sitting here saying this is the most horrible thing. But I did want to show you one other thing on this, just to show you how ridiculous, in case you don't think that these ridiculous people in the media are ridiculous. Well, they are, in fact, ridiculous. Here's Brian Stelter. This is from the Defiant L's Twitter. They do a great job of showing you what these people used to say versus what they say now. So here is Stelter up top. You're seeing his tweet from March of 2018 when Donald Trump was president, and he called a journalist a son of a bitch. It says, calling a journalist a son of a bitch, it was wrong when Trump was just a candidate, and it's even worse now that he's POTUS. And then he had a link to a story about it. He wrote about it because Trump called someone a son of a bitch. Here's what Stelter said yesterday about it when Biden called someone a son of a bitch. At the end of a Biden photo op, when reporters shouted questions hoping he'd respond, Fox's Peter Doocy asked, do you think inflation is a political liability in the midterms? Biden deadpanned, it's a great asset, more inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch. Biden deadpan. So that's his way of saying Biden's joking when he calls someone a stupid son of a bitch. But when Donald Trump does it, we're going to write an article and it's worse than when he's a candidate. Anyway, you guys get it. These people are all frauds and ridiculous people and everything else.